Good morning. I was reading some writings of a favorite woman of mine, Sister Thea Bowman, who writes in profound ways about new ways to look at ordinary things, just looking deeply. And one of the things she says is that our experience of God and spirituality must be deeply and concretely rooted in our personal history. And then, in order to enliven and enrich that relationship with God, it has to return to the personal history. Therefore, it has to be like promulgated and acted upon. What we hear in the dark, we speak in the light. And this saying, this is so important for us today, I think, especially as we are on the cusp of Advent. We are looking at this experience, this amazingly phenomenal, all the bells and whistles experience of the Christmas birth, the coming of Christ, Emmanuel. And so often we think that in order to find God, we have to look elsewhere. We have to go far outside ourselves. This ordinary life that I'm living can't possibly harbor that sacred place where God lives and dwells in the same way as God lived and dwelt in Mary and Joseph and that evening in the manger. So we take ourselves on retreats and on pilgrimages and on encounters, and we go to church and we go to religious gatherings, and we participate in all manner of Catholic and spiritual events in the hopes that there we will find God. And what Sister Thea Bowman is saying is that your personal story, that very simple story of your life, of where you were born, of who raised you, where your parents were, where you lived, what your home life was like, did you have siblings, where did you go to school, who were your friends? Then when you graduated from middle school and graduated from high school, what was your first job? Where did you live then? What were your grandparents like? What were those coworkers like? Where did you find yourself most at peace? This simple story of your life. If we look closely enough, St. Ignatius says we find God in all things, not just in the holy places. Not just in the places where we expect to find God, where we're primed to find God. But the key of all these holy people speaking in unison is that your life matters in such a powerful way that it is in the story of your life that you will find God. In the story of your life, you will find God. You will find God's fingerprints active in places. If you can track it down like a detective, following the trail of the participation, the activity of God in your life, and all the while God beckoning to you. Do not minimize this experience of where I am going to use the people you encounter, the job you have, the place you live, who your neighbors are. Each of these very simple aspects of our lives now become a map, a compass that directs us and leads us closer to God. Don't discount the gift of your life. For us, it's the task of a lifetime to discern where God is and how God is active and present. It is in that story, in the gift of who you are, in the simplicity of your birth, your life, and your eventual death. It is there in that story that you will find God. Don't look to faraway places. Don't be tempted to discount what is there within your heart and soul. God is there too. And so in Advent, it's about this inward journey, not the outward journey. Where are the fingerprints of God?